LoneStarGridiron.com. Access the complete history of Texas high school football, over 100 years of information, win-loss records, coaching histories, individual stats, records, and more. Lone Star Gridiron, the authority on Texas high school football.
There we go.
All right, we're back. Corey, you want to grab Region 1?
Absolutely. So this is 3A Division 2, Region 1. Let's see, who do we have here? We have Crane blanked by Idolo 28-0. And, of course, we have Wall beating Childress, which was a surprise win. Wall beating Childress 44-10. So we have Idolo and Wall facing off in that next round there. It'll be played on the 25th. Let me go back here. And, of course, we got Canadian surprise beating early 42-14. And, of course, Spearman blanking Alpine 49-0. So, of course, this kind of shapes out the way we thought it would. Idolo versus Wall and Canadian versus Spearman. So, with that, honestly, that was I didn't suspect Wall would come out beating Childress that way. That's a surprise one to me.
Yeah, that one surprised me. Canadian, I thought, wouldn't handle early as well as they did. Right. I thought they were going to win, but they just whooped early. But Canadian is susceptible this year. You know, they've got 2 losses already. So they're not the Canadian of old. They're still a great team. They're probably, out of all of those teams, the most experienced when it comes to postseason play. So, you know, that carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, and they shouldn't have any issues as long as they play their game in that region, I would think.
Yeah.
But then once you get out of the region, it's another ball game there. All right, we'll go to Region 2. We've got, let's see here. We have Comanche. Took a tough one to the chin over to Bells, 50-25. Kind of an upset special there, as Bells was a runner-up of District 8. They're going to take on Holiday in the next round, as Holiday knocked off Scurry Rosser 31-10. So it's going to Bell and Holiday. That game is set up for 2 p.m. on Friday. I don't see a place picked up yet, but that's the date and time. In the bottom half, we've got Palmer beating Callisburg 49-13, and they're going to take on Gunter in the next round, as Gunter all over Jacksboro 48-7. So we've got Bells and Gunter representing District 8, and then we've got district champion Palmer from District 7 and the district champion from District 6 Holiday. So not a whole lot of surprises there, mostly chalk. Of course, Bells is the runner-up, but obviously they're in a tough district because they're rolling right now. So,
yeah. Well, I tell you that Gunter-Palmer match, I love seeing it when you get 2 undefeated teams. Somebody's must go this week.
Yeah. Those are always good, because usually those teams are, if they're not ranked in the state, that they're pretty close to being up there. So that should be an interesting one. All right, Region 3, and this is kind of our wheelhouse. Corey, you want to go down through those?
Absolutely. Let's take a look at what we have. West Rusk, all over Wascom. Well, not all over Wascom. This was a very good game.
Yeah, I watched this game. This was a good game, Corey.
This is a very good game.
Actually, West Rusk had to stop Wascom inside the West Rusk territory with about a minute to go to get the ball back. Drove down 70-plus yards in the last minute and scored with 11 seconds to go to pick up the win over Wascom. And West Rusk kind of tends to do that this year. They're a really good team, but sometimes they play around with some of these teams that they probably should put away early. I didn't get to see the whole game, but Wascom jumped ahead at the end, and man, it was a devastating scene to watch. They thought they won, and it was like West Rusk just stole the game away there at the end. And tough way to go out for Wascom, but West Rusk moves on. And Corey, the next one,
you know what's building for me. So the Hooks and Harmony game, Hooks was almost like a heavyweight bout. Hooks came out on fire, and then Harmony kind of slowly got into rhythm, and they end up taking this game 37-23. Now, of course, if you guys are new to this, we have a weekly wrap up show every Wednesday at 8:30. And once we do the weekly wrap up show, we have a lot of community involvement. So the Hooks community came out in droves, and they represented very well. So, and this game ended up being a Harmony victory. And so, if you guys want to just kind of tap in the weekly wrap up show this coming week, I'm pretty sure we're gonna give a lot of shout out to the Hooks fans.
And and if you don't not aware, one of our colleagues on the show, Kyle Owens, he was calling that game, so he picked Harmony, and he got all kinds of comments from these Hook fans, and now they're going to have to come back and take some crow. Kyle will be with us again this week, and
Yes.
I'm sure he's excited to be on the show this week. He's got some crow to dish out.
Yes, and it leads us to the trap game. This is a trap game, Harmony versus West Rusk, and I'm gonna say it right now. I'm saying Harmony beats West Rusk. I know you don't want to hear it. I think they do. Very good football at this point, and the barely win theory. The barely win theory is in effect.
It is in effect, Corey.
It is in effect.
I don't know. I wouldn't disagree with that, just because if you catch West Rusk on a night, it just seems weird. Like they seem like they're either on track, just humming, just beating the hound dog out of folks, or they just kind of play down to the opponent's level and don't play up to their the state's expectations. As Corey is, the state likes West Rusk on the polls this year. They've kind of stayed up top there. Of course,
well, Corey, I like West Rusk too, so I'm gonna call West Rusk on that one.
Oh, okay. Hey, Chris, here's the thing, Chris. We wish you'd come back and pick with us. You picked week 1 and you won.
And I won. Undefeated.
You haven't come back.
Right. Undefeated.
You haven't come back. And it's like you were scared that 1 week was maybe lucky and you didn't want to come pick against us. I don't get it.
That might be true.
He just likes to win. That's what that is. I don't know the odds of me losing it. I don't want to lose anymore.
I'll tell you though, this week the Hooks fans have promised to come back, so this is going to be a very interesting show this week. It's going to be interesting.
A lot of interaction.
Yeah, going down that bottom bracket, Corey. And this one's going to be a heavyweight fight down here.
Oh, that's a classic.
I mean, Newton Dangerfield next round, as Dangerfield knocked off DeKalb 29-22. Newton just all over New Boston 65-8. Guys, man, Newton's on a roll. I know we don't cover Newton. They're kind of out of our area a little bit, but
a little bit.
They're rolling right now. I don't know that our East Texas teams can stay with them. I think Dangerfield probably has the best chance to beat Newton. I just don't think they are going to be able to do it.
The thing that scares me the most is DeKalb. I'm gonna say DeKalb is kind of like they played Dangerfield kind of like what the team played Chapel Hill last night. Bay City, they played them tough. Now Dangerfield's a dangerous football, so everyone knows that. Dangerfield, that's probably not indicative to the score that they wanted to do, but the game was played a little bit more tough than they wanted to. Newton is still rolling, so as I said before, you don't want to get in the playoffs. And you don't want to give an inferior team confidence they can come out and play. We know Dangerfield's better than that. DeKalb probably played their best football up to that point, and Dangerfield's just a little bit better. So I'm anxious to see what team shows up because you could probably see a state champion or a state championship competitor out of that particular bracket. If they get past West Rusk or Harmony, I'm going to tell you Harmony's going to beat West Rusk. Just throwing it out there. Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
Hey, before we go to Region 4, I love doing trivia, so I have a question for you guys. How many points did the 1983 Dangerfield team give up?
Ooh,
13.
No.
I think it was. I thought it was maybe like 20 something, but I can't remember.
No, they gave up the entire season 8 points.
Oh,
their defense gave up 0 points. It was a pick six and a safety the here.
We got
I'm out.
somebody that has it correct, Chris.
Yeah, I see it.
That was the
That's
best.
one of
That
our
was the best defensive team ever. Like
Yeah.
literally
East
in the state.
Elise.
I,
That's
I
one
knew
of
it
our
was low. I knew it was
one of our,
low.
one of our YouTube followers. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Nice. All right, you can jump to Region 4.
All right. You want to do Region 4, Chris?
Sure, yeah, that's my neck of the woods again. Wallace Brazos knocked off Hebronville 42-15. Very big spread there. Tidehaven, a team that not a lot of people have been talking about. They continue to roll. They took care of Nixon Smiley 56-8. Look out for Tidehaven. Again, both those teams, Wallace Brazos, Tidehaven, that's going to be just a battle. And then you go to the bottom and you've got what I think is an even better team. That Poth team took care of Bowling, who not a lot of people were paying attention to, but they came on strong this year. Poth got that win 42-34. Taft knocked off Rogers 31-21. So you're going to say Poth against Taft, Wallace Brazos against Tidehaven, and it's going to set up the next round even better matchup.
Yeah. So you thinking Poth and Tidehaven there?
Well, I'm pulling for Tidehaven just because, growing up, they were always in our district, and it's one of those things you hated them when you're playing against them,
Yeah.
but if they're continuing on, you root for them.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think Poth is one of those well-known teams that have been consistently good. So I like them in that bracket. But yeah, they had everything they wanted this last week. Only winning by 8 points.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they can shake that one off and don't let the barely win theory go into effect on them, because that CM theory is tough.
You don't want it to happen. Not in the playoffs.
Yeah. All right. Anything else with the 380-2 before you go to Division 1? Oh, good. All right. Let's move on. 3A Division 1. And again, if you're listening today and you have questions or comments about the games, go ahead and put them in the chat. We'd love to interact and talk to you. That's why we're here. We love to comment and chat with the fans. So there we go. Share your questions and comments live. All right. 3A Division 1. We've got Whitesboro all over Dalhart, 65-15. We've got Paradise over Shallow Water, 17-14. That'll set up a rematch of district foes, Whitesboro and Paradise. And we've got down on the bottom half of the bracket, we had Bushland over Jim Ned, 28-10. And Brock rolls over Muleshoe 57-20. So that's Bushland Brock matchup down below. So we've got three teams out of the four from District 4. So we'll see how that shakes out. We got a comment here from Mark Henry. What do you think about Gunter? Think they are the favorite. Yeah, Gunter's they're a good team. No question.
They're pretty solid. Again, it's one of those teams that in that bracket has so much postseason experience that I think that's the edge. Even if they're statistically, pretty similar, you give that experience the edge.
Yeah, that's like if you got a toss-up game. Okay, who's been here before?
Right.
We talk about that around our neck of the woods with like Gilmer, for instance. Even though I think they're not as good as they have been, if they match up against a team that's kind of similarly close, I'm going with Gilmer because they've got the experience about being in big games. I think it's the same with Gunter in that aspect. Corey, you got any thoughts on either one of those games? It's like District 4 pretty much is trying to take over this region.
I was surprised Jim Ned got beat by Bushland. It's 28-10. That's a runner-up versus a district winner. So, but I mean, Brock's gonna probably handle that Bushland game pretty well. So,
yeah, they seem like they kind of got off to a rough start, and everybody was kind of, what's going on with Brock? They played just a tough schedule.
Yeah,
and they challenged themselves. Now we've seen that go the other way too. Corey, we've talked about scheduling that tough non-district schedule, and then getting loss after loss, and then coming out and being prepared. But we've also seen Tatum. We talked about them.
as Kyle would put it, he made the reference to it last time. It only benefits you if you're competitive. So if
Yeah.
you're not competitive, you play a tough schedule and you get blown out. It only benefits you if you're competitive in those
Right.
games that you schedule that are tougher. So it's not gonna matter if you play a bunch of upper classifications and you get blasted, you don't score any points. But if you're competitive or you keep the game, yeah, of course it's gonna benefit you down the road, especially if you have a tough district.
So it seems like it's benefiting Brock right now as they're looking to take that region there. I would imagine. We talked about the being able to beat a team twice. It looks like if they get past Bushland, they're going to have to rematch against one of their district mates there, and they'll have to beat someone again. But I still think that they are able to take this region here.
It'll be
Yeah.
Whitesboro.
Yeah. All right. We move down here to Region 2. Man, this one was interesting. Pottsboro all over Whitney, 62-49. That was a high scoring shootout. Is that a basketball
Basketball
score?
school, right?
I would love to have been at that one. And then the bottom half, Grandview rolled over Mineola 48-14. It sets up a Pottsboro Grandview matchup, which is going to be a really interesting one. Pottsboro was kind of surprised of District 5. They were a really strong district, but no one was talking about them. They were talking about Winsboro and Mount Vernon. And look at
Mm-hmm.
Pottsboro, the only one standing. Got a chance to get to the region final with a win over Grandview. Bottom half of the bracket, we've got West over Mount Vernon. I missed
Yes.
this one right here. I had thought Mount Vernon was going to be able to get another win, but they got knocked off by West. And then our Malakoff pick, Corey, I went with the Coughs, and they rolled over Winsboro 55-10. Malakoff's on a roll, and it looks like we've got two teams of our coverage area left. We got Pottsboro and West. We got Eddie here with us. What's up, Eddie? Thanks for
What's going
joining
on,
us
Eddie?
today. Eddie's getting ready for probably getting ready to head towards the Star as Pleasant Grove. His team's playing today against Caddo Mills. So y'all be safe traveling, Eddie, today. But yeah, that's going to be interesting. What I know what Corey's going to think. I know who he's going with for this region. Chris, you got any thoughts on these?
Well, for me, it's been Malakoff all year.
Yeah.
So, I don't see anybody getting in their way.
Yeah,
Malakoff versus the only team that beat them this year is Grandview. Only team. And they get a chance to play them again. And what a way to go. You definitely want to play. And this time play them in a neutral site. And yeah, that's what Malakoff wants to do at this point. You don't
they
want to
want
look
the
past your opponent, but you definitely want to get past this team, and this you can play potentially Grandview again. And that's because hey, listen, Pottsboro is not going to be a pushover at all
No.
whatsoever. So, but I still think it's Grandview and Malakoff. I'm going with the Tigers for Malakoff.
yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
I think the bracket's kind of opened up now, and Malakoff is going to be the favorite for me to take this region. Got us a couple of chats here. Eddie is headed to Frisco. You got Kat Pasama here. So how
Okay.
are you doing, Miss Pasama? Big win last night for the Bulldogs. So shout out to them. So thank y'all for joining us today. Hope y'all enjoy today's show. But yeah, I think that's Pottsboro Grandview is going to be interesting to me to
Hmm.
see if Pottsboro can compete with Grandview. We talked about the schedules a little bit the other night of how we said that maybe that some of these teams didn't have a very tough district, and are they who they say they are? It looks like Grandview and West are. They're staying the course, and we'll see. I think Malakoff knocks off probably two regions or two District 7 teams and takes this bracket, though.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we'll move up to Region 3 here. Yes, that was a great game. I definitely agree. Your son played great last night. He was all over the place. Let's see. We had Columbus over Diboll 35-14, and Cameron Yo 42-19 over Orangefield. So that's up a pretty juicy matchup there with Yo versus Columbus. I like that, and it's looking like District 12 and 11 are the strongest in this particular region, as you've got Franklin over Anahuac 32-7, and you've got Hitchcock with the big win over Woodville 36-31.
Yeah, this whole region is loaded. I love that Hitchcock team. Cameron Yo, I've loved, since Coach Rhodes got back there. And then you have Franklin.
Yeah, Franklin. I mean, look, you look at theirs; they're just consistent. Looks like right now you've got 33-7, 32-7. They don't score a whole lot of points, but that defense is just shutting folks down and don't let them get in the end zone. And if you do that, you can win a lot of games. That's definitely for sure. But you've got, again, the way this sets up, you've got two district champions at the bottom of the bracket with their runners up at top. So you would have to think, if you're going based off how they did in the regular season, that the bottom game would determine who would win the region.
Right.
So
if Hitchcock wins, it's because they've dominated with speed, and Franklin's just dominant. They've been there before. Business trip, you know what it's like. Hitchcock wins, a lot of speed. I'm going with Hitchcock. I know a couple of people there, know a couple of coaches there. I'm going for Hitchcock. So hey, let's go.
Well,
and of course,
I take some of that action.
All right.
Let's go.
We got Eddie says West Rusk and Wascom was a good game. Yes, it was. It was an excellent game. I sat on my couch and watched it, and it was a very good game. Chris is here with us, Blevins. Shout out to Chris Blevins. Your son and the Bulldogs got a win last night. Thanks for joining us this afternoon, Chris. We appreciate all y'all coming over and joining us on the wrap-up show here on the Lone Star Gridiron. All right, we're going to move down to Region 4.
Yeah, I guess that's me, right?
Hey, you wanna take that one?
Yeah, we got Llano over Goliad 21-0. That was a surprise, not the win, but the spread on that one was a lot bigger than I thought it would be. My alma mater, Vanderbilt Industrial, took care of Jourdanton 19-8. They were challenged early on. It looked like, they got to get serious. But if you know anything about this Cobra team, several of the games this season, they waited until they got down, and it gets crunch time for them to wake up.
That's scary to do that, Chris.
Yes.
How much gray hair did you add last night?
Right. Well, look.
Hey, I'm telling you, that's what happens, man. These teams, they just sit there and wait. And that's like what was the heart attack pack we had that year, Corey, with the won the state championship? I don't know how much you followed Chapel Hill that year. We won state, but like every single game was like insane. We shouldn't have even won. And it was like at the last minute, 3 or 4 games.
That wasn't even the better team.
On my Industrial Cobra show with Coach Nairn, I started calling them the Cardiac Cobras because they did that literally. Last play of the game, they won a couple of the games. I mean, it was insane.
And just to throw a shout out to your so if I'm Chapel Hill, I could play the Industrial Cobras right on your board game.
Yes, you can. That's right. And thank you for that transition. Yeah, we have a board game, Friday Night Legends, and you can play. Let me see if I can find the graphic. You can play the greatest teams of all time against each other based on their real stats. So if you wanted that Sealy team with Eric Dickerson to take on maybe Kerrville Tivey's team that had Johnny Manziel, you can play it. Any team, any year, you can play that, and the other games are all on sale now using the code BF22, 50% off. Makes the most amazing Christmas gift ever for the sports fan.
Nice.
Cool. So let me get down to the second half of the bracket now. Edna, the Cowboys took care of Universal City Randolph 16-7. Edna's just keeps rolling. Blanco knocked off London 40-13. That Blanco team is coming on strong. They're somebody that people here in the Gulf Coast are worried about, but it's looking like if Edna and Blanco meet, Edna advances. If Vanderbilt Industrial can get by Llano, you're looking at a rematch of their district championship of Edna versus Industrial.
Well, that seems like they'll have a chance.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that Industrial came up short. So if that
Yes,
theory is correct, it's hard to beat a team twice. Then
that's
your
true.
Industrial team's got a good chance there, Chris.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see about that.
All right, that's Region 4. Anything else you want to talk about in this one?
No, I'm good.
It's a good match. This is a good round. It's a good round.